Hey everyone, this week we're talking about spiritual gifts. Now, there are varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are varieties of services, but the same Lord. And there are varieties of activities, but it's the same God who activates all of them in everyone. To each is given the manifestation of the Spirit for the common good. To one is given through the Spirit the utterance of wisdom, and another the utterance of knowledge, according to the same Spirit. To another faith by the same Spirit, to another gifts of healing by the one Spirit, to another the working of powerful deeds, to another prophecy, another discernment of spirits, to another various kinds of tongues, another the interpretation of tongues. All of these are activated by one and the same Spirit who allots to each one individually just as the Spirit chooses. So 12 to 14 is all about this question of spiritual gifts, worship, and how we use them. So what are our spiritual gifts for? Well, for some, it's to be spiritual, whatever that means. But it's probably connected, it seems here, to being superior. Right? I can do this thing, and so that makes me more spiritual, a better Christian, something like that. See, the problem in our thinking back then and still today often is that when we see differences, we think that there needs to be some sort of ranking, right? If things aren't the same, then some have to be better than others. And so Paul here, in one sense, is trying to level the playing field and say, it's all the same Spirit that's working in all of you. Everyone receives the same Spirit. You all have it. It's not that some didn't receive the Spirit. It's not just those who have the kind of flashy, obvious gifts. We're going to talk next week about speaking in tongues and prophesying and all that fun stuff. It's really coming down to the idea of unity and diversity. And the comparison he kind of makes here, he doesn't use the word, but is like the Trinity. The Father, the Son, and Holy Spirit are distinct, and yet they are fully unified. They are all fully God. And so in a similar way for us, we're not all the same, but we are all one. We're all equal in that sense. So, if that's the case, what are spiritual gifts for? They're for the common good, Paul says. They're for the community, not just for yourself and how you feel about yourself. And so I think we all have to ask ourselves, do we feel gifted? Paul has a list here, but it's not exhaustive, and we probably have some questions about those gifts today. But we all have something, you have something that can bless others. And if you can bless other people with that, you need to use it. It may be a public thing where people can see it and put it on the internet, and it may not be, but it all matters. The Spirit is the one who decides. It's not up to us. As Paul's going to say in a couple of verses, human differences, things like race and gender, they don't determine giftedness. And so don't claim that you know what the Spirit is doing based on those sort of externals. It's always about the community. If you have something that's for the common good, we are not going to be at our best unless you use it. So, how is the Spirit gifting you?